Alright, good morning. Riley's over there next to my pack. We're all packed up and ready to start the day. Van Gogh here. Today is Wednesday, June 26th, and it's day number 55 of our AT hike. We're hanging in there. This is where we spent the night last night. I didn't do a closeout video yesterday. So we made it to mile 745.2 according to Far Out yesterday, and so that's where we're starting the day today. And we actually hiked 14.5 miles yesterday, which is more than I thought we would, given how long of a break we took in the middle of the day. And it's about 8 o'clock now, and the temperature feels comfortable. So we're going to get started hiking and try to make use of the comfortable temperature before it gets too warm. So 14.5 miles out of Daleville yesterday, and we did do some night hiking. We hiked probably until about 10:30 or so, and I don't think we got into our tent until about 11 o'clock, and then I didn't get to sleep until after 12, but once I was ready to go to sleep, I just put my head down. I didn't try to do any reading last night, and we got a good sleep. And also, yes, so we just before getting to the campsite last night, we crossed the first road that's part of the Blue Ridge Parkway. So that was at Black Horse Gap, and then 0.8 of a mile after that we got to the first overlook, which is Taylor Mountain Overlook, which is just like 0.2 of a mile south from us right now. And we're going to be crossing a few more Blue Ridge Parkway roads today, and then I think the AT is gonna lead us out of the Blue Ridge Parkway, so that we're not crossing the overlooks like all the time. But we do have several more crossings that we're gonna do today, and that's partly cool because it'll mean that we're close to trash cans, so I can dispose of some trash. And it's also cool to see the overlooks and see the parking areas, know that we're close to civilization, and inching closer to Shenandoah National Park. So with that, day number 55, Wednesday, June 26th, we're going to get started with the day, and we will check in later. All right, bye for now. So this is our hike so far today. Riley is doing fine so far. And the Blue Ridge Parkway is over to our left, just a little ways away. Really just up until I turned the camera on, I could still kind of see the road. But now we just got into a little low area here, so the ground is higher, and the Blue Ridge Parkway road is just beyond that little rise in elevation over there. One thing I forgot to mention about our Daleville trip, or just our visit into Daleville, is that as I was getting my things organized, like getting all my food organized in my pack late at night, this was on Monday night at the Kroger, I was sitting at a picnic table, and Riley was secured to the picnic table with me. Two girls walked in. I was actually talking on the phone with my parents, and two girl hikers walked in. This was probably about 9 o'clock or after 9 o'clock at night. And when I got off the phone, I came back and they were sitting they were standing kind of close to where Riley was, but they were keeping a little distance, and they complimented. They said Riley was a very nice dog. Anyway, my point for sharing this story is that one of the girls, so their names were Uno and Midnight, their hiker names, trail names. One of the girls was actually holding a cat, and it was so little. It's a kitten. It was a kitten. It was so little that I didn't even realize it until she told me. And she said that the two of them actually hiked out of Daleville that day on Monday, and they made it about 8 miles, and then this kitten just came up to her on the trail. It was all alone by itself. And she picked it up, and they decided, because it was all alone, they figured someone had just abandoned it there on the trail. Since the trail is easily accessible through various roads, they figured someone had just abandoned it. And so they decided to hike 8 miles back to Daleville with the kitten. And they had scheduled a vet appointment in Daleville for the following day on Tuesday to have it looked at. And they said they named it Great Value Premium White Chicken, since that was the only thing that that was some food that they had with them that they fed to it. And they said its nickname is Chicky for short. And it was such a tiny kitten. It's probably just a few weeks old, and they saved it. They basically saved its life by bringing it back to Daleville with them, because the kitten had no source of food, nobody to take care of it, and it was just very hot out. But it's still alive. They said it drank water and it was eating food, and they're gonna try to find someone to adopt it. And I thought that was just amazing of them to care for the kitten that they just met on trail, and they're disrupting their hike to do this. And so that takes a lot of commitment, but as a result, they saved this kitten's life, and they're gonna hopefully find a future home for it. So that was really cool to meet them and meet the kitten. They let me get up close and pet it very carefully, and Riley didn't even know it was there. Normally he reacts very loudly and aggressively when he sees cats, but this kitten was so tiny, and the girl Uno was holding it in her arms the entire time, and Riley had no idea it was there. Anyway, so I just wanted to share that cool story. So we'll check in later. This is Peaks of Otter Overlook. The Peaks of Otter are somewhere over there. Peaks of Otter. There's also a lodge, which is like 5 miles away, which my parents are familiar with, and named after the mountains, Peaks of Otter. Come on, big guy. All right, so Riley and I here are we are at a place called Mills Gap Overlook. Yes, Mills Gap Overlook on the Blue Ridge Parkway. And there's the AT sign. The trail continues into the woods this way, and we're just taking a break here in the shade. We were taking a break about a mile and a half back at a campsite, and then this group of 4 hikers that we had passed earlier in the day, they were going southbound while we were going northbound. They were just out for a day hike, and they were out doing an out and back. So when we passed them in the morning, they were going out, and then when we were taking a break at the campsite, they were going back, and they passed us again. And that energized. We had just gotten to the campsite and Riley decided to take a break. Actually, we both decided to take a break. But when they passed us, that energized Riley. So I decided that we should use his energy to hike on for a little bit. And they had their car parked here at Mills Gap Overlook. So we were able to make it here without too much difficulty, since Riley was motivated. And now Riley's tired again, and it's a hot one, another hot one. He drank some water earlier, and he's breathing hard here, so we're just gonna wait here. I'm gonna give him some more food and water in a little bit, and we're gonna wait here until his breathing calms down and he feels a little bit better. But I think we're having a decent day so far today. Got my trusty guidebook out here, and we started just north of right here, Taylor's Mountain Overlook, just 0.2 miles after there. And we passed the side trail to the shelter, and now we're here at Mills Gap Overlook. So we've done, according to this, we've done like 5.4 miles so far on the day. So that's pretty decent, I think. The trail's been very nice. We didn't get a lot of hiking done in the morning before because it got hot very quickly, and but we got some hiking done in the morning. Anyway, we've had a decent morning, and we are taking a break, so that feels good. I've got these whole grain rolls that I purchased at the Kroger in Daleville, and I'm making progress on eating them. This is what one looks like after it's been scrunched up in my pack. And I brought some mayonnaise packets and mustard packets from the Kroger as well. I've already finished the mayonnaise packets, and now I'm on to the mustard packets. And I have this thing of peanut butter with me. So I had the idea earlier today that I could put the mustard and the peanut butter on the roll. And this mustard, I've just had one of these so far. It's a Boar's Head brand mustard, and it says mustard delicatessen style with white wine and horseradish. And it is a very delicious seeming, it's Boar's Head brand, so it's a quality brand, but it seems like just like a very high quality mustard. Much more high quality than I deserve for being a hiker out here, but I feel like I'm first class while I'm eating this mustard with my bread out here. So I'm gonna look forward to that on our break. And yeah, it was nice seeing the group of 4. When we passed them earlier today, one of them had like a whole bunch of oranges, and he gave me 2 oranges just to be nice. So that was very nice of him. And then it was great seeing them on the way back, because they helped Riley and I get a little bit further, and they were seemed like they were just a nice group of people. They were having good conversation, and it was nice to listen to them. Riley and I took the lead because Riley likes to be in the lead when we're hiking with a group of people, so we were able to, I mean, I didn't like listen to their conversation in terms of listening to what they were actually saying, but just I could hear their voices, and Riley could hear their voices, and it just sounded like they were having a good time out here. So that got us into a good mood, or got me into a good mood. Yes, Riley, good boy. All right, so Riley's still tired, but he's making progress. He just had a little bit there where he wasn't panting, and now he's panting again, but he's slowly recovering, and we'll be back on our way. Not super soon, but in a bit. We're not going to be stuck here all afternoon. All right, we'll check in later. You go, Riley. There you go. Hello, Riley. Hello. All right. Van Gogh and Riley are back again here. And the day is starting to get a little dark. We're in the evening time now. The last time we checked in was when we were taking a break, I believe, at Mills Gap Overlook, and Riley was very out of breath and panting heavily at that point. And shortly after then, we were getting wrapped up, getting ready to head out, and a car pulled up, a SUV actually, and a gentleman asked if my dog wanted water, and even though he's already drank, I certainly accepted. And his wife got out and handed me not just water, not just a bottle of bottled water, but an ice cold bottle of bottled water. They had like a cooler in the car, I guess, and to keeping the water very cold, and it felt really cool to just hold in my hand, because it was very, very hot at that point. So I thanked them very much for the water, and I gave some of it to Riley along with some food, and I took a couple gulps myself. I had already hydrated myself, but I took a couple gulps of the ice cold water, and it was very refreshing, and I think Riley found it refreshing as well. And then a couple hikers that we met earlier this week on the trail named Snail and Boo Boo. I don't remember if I mentioned them before, but I met them as Riley and I were hiking on the day that we did the Dragon's Tooth. When we finished Dragon's Tooth, we got down to a road that led to Catawba Grocery and also this hostel called Four Pines Hostel. And as we were hiking out from that road, Riley started taking lots of breaks because it was really, really hot. Really, really hot. Anyway, so that evening, Riley and I were at the top of a mountain, and we were just lying down. Riley was refusing to walk. He was just chilling out, saying, "It's hot, I don't want to walk." And it was getting late, and anyway, up showed this hiker in an orange shirt. And he asked me my trail name. I said it was Van Gogh, and he was like, oh, people tried to give me that trail name. And he explained that he was an art professor. But and I guess that's why originally Van Gogh was a possible trail name for him, but he said his trail name was Snail, because he used to be slow at getting ready in the morning, although he's improved his ways in that regard. And he was hiking with his buddy named Boo Boo, who was named because I guess Boo Boo is the companion of Yogi Bear. I should watch an episode or two of Yogi Bear again and familiarize myself with this character named Boo Boo. But yeah, so Boo Boo, he was a real cool guy. He's a tall guy, but he got his trail name Boo Boo because or at one point he was afraid of bears. Anyway, so we met them on Saturday, and that was awesome when we were hiking out of that road near Catawba Grocery and Four Pines Hostel, because Riley was just not energized to go. But once those guys showed up, Riley was energized. And we made it all the way to John's Spring Shelter that evening, and we had to hike into the night to do it. And we got there at 10 o'clock or after 10 o'clock. We were definitely hiking into the night, and I was very tired, like sleepy tired. I just wanted to go to bed. And that was like probably the first day that I felt like, man, this is really hot out here. And I was getting frustrated. And anyway, but because of those guys, Riley got motivated to hike, and we were able to make it to that shelter, which was only a few miles away from McAfee Knob. And Snail and Boo Boo are doing a section hike. Boo Boo is section hiking the trail in about 100-mile increments each year. And so Saturday was their first day on the trail together. They actually started on Saturday. Well, Boo Boo hiked a section up north earlier on in the week, but that day on Saturday was his first day starting with Snail from that road crossing after Dragon's Tooth. So they were relatively fresh, I guess, but they helped us immensely in terms of getting to our destination that night. And me and Riley have been seeing them off and on since then. Like we were together on McAfee Knob, and then we camped together that night just after Lambert's Meadow Shelter, and then we didn't see each other in Daleville. There you go, Riley. Want some water? Okay. Yes, that's fine. But then when Riley and I were taking a break today at Mills Gap Overlook, Snail and Boo Boo showed up, and we saw them again, and that energized Riley again to hike. So we were able to get 1.8 miles in from Mills Gap Overlook to the next road crossing, which was Bear Wallow Gap. We didn't hike as a group then, but Riley was motivated to catch up to Snail and Boo Boo, and then we caught up to them at Bear Wallow Gap, where there was a water source, and we filled up on water. Hey, Riley, come on, buddy. Come on, Riley. This way, Riley, come on. And then there was about a little over 3 miles from there to the next shelter, which is called Cove Mountain Shelter. And
we hiked as a group to the shelter. Riley and I were in the lead. Snail and Boo Boo were behind us, but not far behind us. And yeah, it was great to get to know them. We had some good conversation today. I've enjoyed hiking with them off and on the past few days. And Riley has greeted them, as he greets just about everybody, very nicely. He definitely recognizes them. And the other awesome thing is Snail and Boo Boo, they have their car at a campground that's just a few miles, like 3 miles down from the shelter they're staying at tonight. And so they only have like 3 miles left in their current section hike. They're hiking out tomorrow and gonna drive back to where they live. And so they offered to give me like all of their excess snack items, which was super, super nice of them. Super awesome. They just didn't need them anymore, and they had enough food for tonight to get them to tomorrow, and then tomorrow they're gonna eat some real food, I guess, like at a restaurant. So they don't have any desire for their trail food anymore. And so they gave me a big bag of a whole bunch of snacks, like Cliff Bars and cashews and bunch of different goodies. And Snail gave me also a dehydrated meal that's like a Indian style butter masala type dehydrated meal, which looks like it's going to be very tasty. So that just brings a big smile to my face and my tummy. And I tried to reciprocate by giving them some. There wasn't any water at the Cove Mountain shelter, and I had brought plenty of water with me from the water source, and Snail was a little bit low on water, so I was able to lend him a couple liters of water. And then Riley and I took a break at the shelter, and then we decided to hike on. That was the plan all along for us, because I like to, with all the heat we're having, I definitely like to hike in the evening and use up all the daylight and try to take advantage of any weather that's relatively cooler than the midday. So that's what Riley and I are doing now. We're hiking on. We left Cove Mountain Shelter maybe an hour, maybe a couple hours ago. And it's cooled down a little bit. It actually was thundering earlier, and the skies were threatening to let out a huge rainstorm, but it just let out a little sprinkle. But it did help to cool things down a bit. And now the skies are all clouded over. So it definitely feels cooler. It's not cold at all. Like it's still somewhat warm, but much, much better than what it's been like. All right, so I think we turn here. And so we are now getting down to a place called Jennings Creek, where there's I believe it's a creek, and apparently people can go swimming in it, and it's a good water source. So that will be an opportunity for us to fill up on water, and we could camp there as well, but I'm actually inclined to continue on for a bit and do a little bit more night hiking. Because I'm really motivated to try to take advantage of hiking during the relatively cool nighttime and early morning hours whenever we're able to. So I think that's doable for tonight. Riley's doing fine. I have him hiking behind me just because that's easier. When we get to Jennings Creek, we will have done, well, when we got to the shelter, we had done 10.5 miles on the day, and then to get to Jennings Creek, it's another 3 miles from the shelter, so we'll have done 13.5 miles on the day when we get down to the creek, and then whatever else we're able to do after that, we'll see what happens. But I'm definitely encouraged that oh gosh, okay. I'm sorry, Riley, go ahead. Yeah, I'm definitely encouraged that it seems like we're surviving the heat. It seems like the heat has thrown a huge punch at us. It's like we're in a boxing match and the heat is just trying to knock us out. And I feel like we've taken the punch and we're still standing, and it may knock us out at some point, but I feel like we're putting up a good fight, and we're punching back. So, but we're being smart. I'm trying to be smart. We're taking whatever breaks we need. So just a little boxing analogy that I thought of. So that's just a little update. Today is, as I've said many times, June 25th. June 26th, day 55. I feel like my words are slurring a bit, which I apologize for. It probably just means I'm fatigued. I'm certainly not drunk. But, yeah, that's an update for now, and Riley and I will check in. We'll plan to check in later. All right. Hope everyone is doing well, and bye for now.